Canada has more than 630 indigenous and close to 300 isolated villages, according to its government. And finding dependable energy sources that are also produced using clean renewable energy has proven to be difficult for the indigenous and remote communities cut off from the main electrical grids in remote regions of Canada. For these communities, diesel fuel has traditionally been one of the only of the grid energy options. Please have a look at the below figure. The red dots indicates the numbers of the remote communities. Those are dependable on diesel for their power generation, and the number is huge. Diesel fuel is burned in an engine to provide mechanical energy, which can then be utilized to generate electricity for off-grid small-scale diesel electricity generating. About 75% of diesel's ingredients are saturated hydrocarbons, while 25% are aromatic hydrocarbons. So emissions from diesel generators are carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, methane, nitrous oxides, particulate matter, sulfur oxides, volatile organic compounds, and heavy metals. And the effects of the emissions are air pollution, soil pollution, noise pollution, global warming, greenhouse effect, and development of cancer, cardiovascular, and respiratory health effects. Now I am going to present the Galway First Nation diesel offset microgrid project, how they reduce their dependency on diesel using the solar energy. So let's begin. An Ojibwe nation can be seen in Galway, Ontario, Canada. On the community, there are close to 375 individuals, and since the 1960s, less than 100 dwellings and 13 community structures have been powered by diesel generators. The Independent Electricity System Operator (IESO) established a fund to assist communities and identify alternate strategies for lowering diesel use after realizing it was not economically feasible to link the community to the Ontario electricity grid. Now, look at the previous energy scenario of that place. As like as the majority of the remote indigenous communities, Galway relied on diesel fuel to generate their energy and heat their homes. This pricey and polluting fuel must be carried into the neighborhood at a considerable cost, necessitating delivery by road, barge, and frequently plane. Though using diesel for heat and power has an adverse effect on the environment and local health. There are three generators from Caterpillar, and these three generators usually produced around 1096 megawatt hour electricity per year, and the diesel consumption was around 3,30,502 liter per year. So how the new microgrid work? A series of more than 1,000 ground-mounted solar panels wired to a central microgrid controller and battery energy storage system will provide clean energy to these homes, circumventing the community's existing diesel generator at times. When diesel is required, the microgrid's control system can initiate the process to switch seamlessly back to diesel with no disruption in the power supply. The generation capacity is 400 kilowatt, and the system also includes 80 batteries and 15 inverters. So, what is the present energy scenario and achievement? The secluded Galway First Nation community, 200 kilometers north of Thunder Bay, has relied on loud diesel power generators for years. But now there is finally some wonderful silence. The generation from solar is 360 kilowatt and it has a backup time of 11 hours. The system allows to save almost 130,000 liter of diesel per year. And that is almost 30% of previous consumption. Finally, the project cost about $8 million, and it was a joint effort between the community and the Ontario Power Generation (OPG). General contractor was Altrade Industrial. The first rural Canadian community to employ renewable energy is Galway. The project is OPG's fifth joint venture with an indigenous community. And the areas to pay more attention, in my opinion, are maintenance and cleaning of photovoltaic modules, maintenance and cleaning of batteries, maintenance and cleaning of the inverters, upgrading to new available technologies, and overall proper monitoring and utilization of power. Now I am welcoming my next group member to conduct the next part of this presentation. Thank you.
This is Mrinmoy Kundu want to talk about the energy scenario of Hartley Bay. The village of Hartley Bay, located approximately 650 km northwest of Vancouver, British Columbia, is a remote off-grid coastal community in the Kit Kat Nation. This is one of the first remote British coastal communities to get electrified by diesel in 1928, a project founded by the Kit Kat themselves. The community is home to 170 residents living in 82 buildings. Among them, 62 is residential and 20 is commercial or mixed use. With 450 kilowatt of maximum demand per day, this community mainly relies on fossil fuel-based power generation system. Let's talk about the fossil fuel-based power generation system of Hartley Bay. There are three generators supplying the electricity to Hartley Bay. Two of them produces 420 kilowatt each, and another produces 210 kilowatt. The system consists of a 600-volt bus at the generators, which is stepped up to 25 kilovolt for distribution. The community has historically used up to 2 gigawatt hour of electric energy annually at a levelized cost of approximate 67 cents per kilowatt. The current generation setup costs up to $500,000 per year. This community already faced a massive power outage several times for depending on the standalone system. In 1975, a diesel generating plant breakdown cut all the power to Hartley Bay's home and water treatment plant. This situation completely isolated 140 kilometers of total area. Even after 6 weeks, this situation didn't change, which spoiled the stocked foods for winter season. Another massive breakout happened in 2012 when the Kit Kat Nation was celebrating Christmas. Moreover, the cost of fuel started increasing rapidly from the early 70s. From that time, the inhabitants were started thinking of clean energy sources. Though that time the federal government backed them by setting oil prices, but the situation got worse day by day. This unstable power generation system also harmful for producing greenhouse gases. Although this is a small remote community, they have considered this issue seriously. They have also taken some optimizing procedures to reduce the fuel usage. Since 2008, Hartley Bay has been engaged in an energy management initiative aimed at reducing greenhouse gas emission. One focus of this initiative is managing all aspects of the electrical network, including generation, distribution, and demand. Several energy management initiatives have been implemented, including installation of a wireless network of smart meters, monitoring of energy use in real time using an Energy Management Information System EMIS, lighting, heating, and HVAC retrofits, and hiring of local energy coordinators to manage projects and engage the community. In October 2009, precision fuel flow sensors were installed on the three generators, and generator efficiency, defined as liters of fuel consumed per kilowatt hour of electricity produced, was determined. The 420 kilowatt generators were found to have the highest efficiencies, 0.27 liter per kilowatt hour or 34%, while the 210 kilowatt generator had the lowest efficiency, 0.49 liter per kilowatt or an average of 19%. It was concluded that in order to maximize the efficiency of the generator system and minimize the fuel consumption, the 210 kilowatt generator should be run as little as possible. The diesel dispatch settings is shown in the figure. A demand response system was proposed to shed community loads during peak periods in order to keep demand below 360 kilowatt and therefore avoid dispatching of the 210 kilowatt generator. The current DR setup in Hartley Bay allows for both manual and automatic decision making. The DR system is capable of shedding up to 15%, which is 35 kilowatt. They have also started installing smart meters in residence and commercial areas to observe real-time power consumption and switch between the power sources. These approaches actually ended up some positive outcomes. Reconfiguring the diesel dispatch set point resulted in an estimated savings of 77,000 liters of diesel per year, which cost around $77,000. It is expected that in community of Hartley Bay, unlocking the full potential of future DR programs could produce additional annual fuel savings up to 27,000 liters, or the 5% of total consumption. Abnormal operational issues can be more efficiently identified using real-time measurements than using conventional system audits. Despite these optimizations, the smart metering system faced severe complaints and fuel price also skyrocketed abruptly, which led the KitKat to think about hydro opportunities. The average rainfall per year is 5 meters, which causes strong water flow in the swollen Gabion River. The Gitcat think that they must take the advantage of what God gave them. That's why they have started engaging with BC Hydro to develop clean energy generation system. Beginning in 2010, it participated in British Columbia Hydro's remote community electrification program that led to an agreement by which the Crown utility would buy all the hydro the project generates and then sell it back to the reserve residents who consume it. Once the project's debt is paid off, the revenues will flow to the First Nation. In 2014, the KitKat signed an energy purchase agreement with BC Hydro. They agreed to buy the power the village generates. They negotiated $10 million in grants and an additional $12 million in financing. It would take 25 years to pay off, but after that, the project promises to generate net revenue for the KitKat Nation. British Columbia Hydro started accepting applications for its latest standing offers program to help this First Nation to develop very small scale between 100 kilowatt and 1 megawatt clean energy projects. The KitKats have successfully navigated the complexities of multiple government bureaucracies, lined up millions in loans and grants, and were even awarded an energy purchase agreement in 2014. But they couldn't arrange enough fund for executing the clean energy project. But alternative procedures can execute an environment-friendly power generation system. If the energy management system were executed properly, it could reduce the fuel consumption to a certain level. The hydro can be considered as an emergency source of energy if any sudden breakdown happens for diesel generators. Moreover, considering hydro generation along with the diesel can mitigate fossil fuel consumption.
Hi, I'm Asif Azad, and this is my project report on energy scenario on Chesterfield Inlet, Nunavut, Canada. Well, the Chesterfield Inlet is located in Nunavut's Kiva Lake region. It is in northwestern Hudson Bay Arm and terminus of the Tevlon River after it passes through Baker Lake. Cross Bay is a significant widening of the inlet located 30 kilometers east of Baker Lake. Within the inlet, there are several islands. William Moore Hussein Boat's properties were 60 miles up in inlet in 1747. They have been they have been the first European here. William Christopher followed the entire inlet to Baker Lake in 1762. So Chesterfield Inlet is filled with population of 379. It was calculated on 2020, but there was a population decrease from 2016 to 2020. The population was in 2016 it's 437, but in 2021 the population was 397. The Chesterfield Inlet is powered by mostly diesel generators, and the generators were built in mid 1970s. So it is a metal clad structure that only houses the generators. In 1993, a PLC was installed and it was refurbished in 1997. The structure of the building is sound with a few floors. With total installed capacity is 810 kilowatt with a peak load requirements of 313 kilowatt in 2000 to 2001. The present power scenario is that Chesterfield is running on diesel power, so it has some flaws in it and it's very old. Those generators are very old. They're built in like mid 1970s, and as there is only not more than 400 people, that's why the generation was still working there. But now, as per the carbon emission policies and other stuff, and they're also climate changing for carbon emissions, the Chesterfield fields have to change their generators to renewable energy because Chesterfield fields emits a lot of tons of carbon dioxide annually from those diesel generators. Like they are causing heavy effects on the climate change and global warming. Like warmer temperatures over time are changing weather patterns and disrupting the usual balance of nature. This poses many risks to human beings and other forms of life on Earth. For example, nearly all land areas are seeing more hot days and heat waves. Thus, we are seeing more wildfires and melting glaciers, which are destroying the habitats. So after that, they proposed a new energy source for the Nunavut Chesterfield Inlet, and it was like the Kulik Energy Corporation wants to build a new diesel-fired power plants in Chesterfield Inlet to replace more than 40-year-old generators. According to QEC's proposal, the new power plants will come with two sides. Like there will be an alternative generating system, and it will be renewable energy, and the main will be the diesel power as it was before. So the old one is the old power generators in Chesterfield is 46 years old. So when they are trying to build a new one, it will expected last for next 40 years. The new power plant are expected to operational by at least 2026. This multi-year project will include the construction of a new four-engine power generation facility with proposed generation capacity of 1,820 kilowatts with a life expectancy of more than 40 years. It will also include new technology to improve reliability, efficiency, operation safety, and as well as to reduce the environmental impacts. Well, in conclusion, I want to say that renewable power sources are much more eco-friendly and safe for the environment. And with the construction of a new renewable power source, more people will have new job opportunities. And people in Chesterfield Inlet are indigenous, so they need a stable and eco-friendly power source for their school, hospitals, and buildings. Well, diesel generates emits a lot of carbon there, but as the climate change, the carbon emission rules, there is a limitation for carbon emission. And the government trying to make Chesterfield zero carbon emission by 2050. So there is a huge chance and there is a possibility and there should be a new renewable energy source for those people because it's much more friendly and much more safe for them. Thank you for giving me those opportunity.